What is up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in. And as you can see, we got the rotation back down. Well, I don't want to say that I predicted that, but I was talking about a bearish rotation the whole time around this price action. And as I said, we broke 3-day market structure, and market structure is king. And you can see we broke it. It was a very slow move down. That's why I was hoping for a rotation back up for a proper distribution. But as you can see, we broke 3-day market structure and then we flushed because there was nothing but sell side liquidity below this structure point. Now we took out the extreme liquidity of this range. So the extreme liquidity is basically the first proper lower high before the higher high, higher low, higher low before we get to the range low. I am still confident that we will get to this low here and exceed it. And as for now, because, well, basically since the beginning of the month, 4 days straight down, lots of supply creation here, and basically we have a supply block here and some overlapping. I won't get into the lower time frame now, but as you can see here, we got some mitigations. And let me go to the lower time frame, no problem. So basically we got the little and here another mitigation. Let's see how this looks. So basically we got a structure supply here with a mitigation here. And now the thing is, if I don't really think that we will get there, so this would be a very harsh move up, so coming down and then retrace for the next leg down. Well, when I'm drawing it like this can happen, obviously. And this is what I am hoping for me to get positioned. But obviously what you don't want to do right now, after this move down, try to short the first leg up. So what I mean is, basically if we come up and we are building a nice range, you don't want to short it right here, because basically this low is the first low before the range. What you really want to get is some displacement. So come up, down, and then get into a proper range, and maybe even mitigate this supply here for a range development above here. So this can be a playbook. So this is actually a good example here. So I was monitoring this range here, for example, at first, and I actually entered here. And the thing is, this was the first low before this range started, as you can see. Okay, so this is the first low, and often this gets disrespected and it goes over into something more high time frame. And in this case, well, you could not really draw like this, but you can see this is a range, for example, and on the CME chart you actually can see that this is a proper range. It's only here on the USD inverse perpetual, and even if you put it on Bitcoin Euro, just a little fun fact, we actually got the distribution model. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I will monitor this in the future. So you can see model 1. Well, this has nothing to do with the price action now, but just so you can see it. So we got our lower high, we took it in a manipulative way, broke structure again, and then we broke all the way down. So you can see on other charts we had a proper distribution. On USDT, obviously I was calling for this accumulation, model 1 with the test entry, the LPS and the continuation, and now you can see we got the aggressive follow through. Let me delete all this here, because basically this is just OTA now, and this model 1 with the test got respected. Nice to see. And as I said many times, I think that this high here is a good target for a potential bear market low on Bitcoin, but we have to see. I have some sort of a trend line here, but I think that we will take out all these highs here, 1, 2, 3, and even if we go down now again and reaccumulate, this adds just another high to the equation. So yeah, so what I am looking for on Bitcoin is now some sort of a relief move up. Either we get a local range here, which obviously forms an accumulation, and I tried this, and look how far I can get it for a potential higher time frame redistribution, I have to say. And but basically the crypto market now has an aggressive expansion and it has to rebalance now. And maybe even this redistribution has the purpose to generate liquidity. So let me draw it fast. So if we distribute here and we go down slow, this actually can be the liquidity that we take out later for the bull market, okay? So maybe the next move up is to mitigate some sort of supply to get a smooth rotation back up in the next time. But what I have noticed too, that supply created in the bear market gets disrespected in the bull market. So you can see a higher time frame block here. We got some reaction, but eventually we went through. Like here we got a supply block, we absolutely smashed it. And this does not have to happen, but I would say some sort of a little redistribution for the continuation down is likely. And if we get it, we can look at some negative fibs to, oh no, that's something else. We can look at some negative fibs. If this is the local bottom here and we redistribute, I would say some realistic bear market lows are here around 50K. Yeah, so, right around here. Let me put the where is it? Oh, I have to. Yeah, okay. Basically, I would say around here we can expect some sort of bottoming formation. And if you take a look from the all-time high down to the minus 0.5, it's 60%, 62, 63, 68, and the last drawdowns were a bit higher, like around 77%, but I don't think that we will get there, but we actually don't have to predict it. If you see something like this sideways price action for 200 days, you can expect that the low is in. So maybe if we redistribute, we go down and set the local low in June, July, for example, and then we consolidate, maybe even till October. So like it only would have be 100 days. Yeah, something like this is we consolidate around these price points for 2 to 3 months, like we did here, but with the move up, and here with the grind down, sideways price action coming down, you can expect a bottom to form. And is interesting for me is with the stock market at all-time highs. I'm looking at some distribution here on Tesla, for example. And interesting is that we are getting so extended, and if we get the distribution models on the stocks, but Bitcoin is just so exhausted to the downside, how low can it go? Maybe we get some event and it pushes down lower, below 40K or something. And this is then the event that pushes price down, like here, where price action is basically that. There's where you want to buy. And the other thing is, you can now see that altcoins, for example, ETH here, let me delete the old TA here, that ETH just on the 8 hour, you can see how much liquidity there has been built up, and we have some supply creation, I know, but this is nothing special. This is just the last move down, and now we actually can look at something like this here, which we got a distribution on the range high, and now we can actually accumulate here. Maybe we go even a little lower with Bitcoin still having the 60K low here. We can go lower, but I see the decent chance that we locally here maybe even accumulate, and an accumulation of this size, if this is going to accumulate for 240 days, this can be a bottoming structure with the bottom right around October or a bit later. But I would say, especially going into the summer months now, that price action is going to be a lot slower and bore people out after this dump. Most of the people have lost interest, especially those who bought the whole move up here and now got wrecked again with a drawdown of, let's say here again 30%. If this is going lower, maybe even wicking this low here and locally accumulate, this can actually push price higher. Yeah, and you can see here this was the bottom, and until we took out this high here properly, this was over a year. Okay, so this even can be the PS, and we go down lower, maybe even take out all these lows here and form a range around here. Okay, so this goes lower with Bitcoin going lower, and we accumulate here, maybe even go sub 1k, and yeah, something like this is for me personally on the table, that we get now these bottoming formations. And I would say ETH sub 1k is a no-brainer for me personally. So even if this thing only goes to the new all-time high or something, you can have a 3 to 4 to 5x on your money on the asset that is established, that has a huge community, etc. With the whole DeFi thing. No financial advice obviously, but ETH sub 1k and Bitcoin, for example, sub 50k, 40k, something like this, is a no-brainer for me personally. And I'm yapping way too much here. On XRP, as I said, this was actually the two-tap model. We had the compression, and now we got the rotation back down. We can look at something like this here as an accumulation. Got a supply here. Yeah, this actually can be the start of an accumulation. If this low gets taken, it's already 4 months in development. So maybe we can even go sub $1 and it would still be in the deviation range here. If we wick it and go up again inside of the range, we can actually accumulate here. And yeah, I think that we are entering now a phase that is very boring. People will lose interest in the market, but now it's a time where we have actually to stay sharp and look for opportunities on the market. And look here, for example, on XRP, below $1 would be a nice spot buy. Sui, I'm not that interested at the moment. Obviously it can go up, but look, let me share some source here. So for example, Curve, I'm looking for a potential spot buy, and just for you guys, so you guys can do your own research. But if you look, dang. Okay. If you look at this price action here, let me clean this up. So basically this low here was a reaccumulation on Bitcoin here. This was a low. We went up for Bitcoin to a new all-time high. And since then, there are altcoins where we are stacking these highs here, the liquidity here. And remember, this is on the weekly time frame. If we go to another time frame, you can actually see the liquidity build up. We have some supply here, but this thing here is at all-time low, okay? And how much lower can this go? So if we take out this low here, this would be another, well, it's only 4%. But yeah, obviously, if you ask yourself how low can something go, it always can go lower, yeah. But for example, here you can see the liquidity build up. You can see, I would like to take out this low here, for example. That's another 33%. But I mean, if this thing goes to $1.80 and the range high is at $21, that's basically a 15x on your money. And even if this only squeezes up higher, rebalances, you never will get to these prices again. In this specific cycle, yeah, it always can grab liquidity, go down, die off, and yeah. But this is what I'm looking for. Now is the time to look for opportunities in the market and not losing interest in the market and actually staying sharp, because if we really are in this leg down here, there is some time to go down. So this is our monthly open. I don't think that we will get there, but June is often a month where we put the pivots for a long time. Here you can see this is June and this was the low. So here June opened straight down, this was the low in June, and then we got a grind up into August, went down into November. And this is the playbook that I'm referring to. So maybe we go down a bit more. This is our local low in June, and then we got the grind up for the next 2 months again. Everybody is bullish, and then we die off into the end of the year, and then we reaccumulate and start the new cycle. So basically, I'm interested in this zone here for spot investments, okay? Thank you for watching. I don't want to jab that much, but yeah, we are already 22 minutes in. But yeah, I hope you found value in this video. I would love if you could leave a comment and give me some feedback about my analysis and how I'm approaching the markets. And yeah, I wish you the best. Stay sharp, stay grateful, stay disciplined, keep watching the markets, and eventually you will get the right prices where you in hindsight say, damn, why I was not active at the charts. Most people only get back into crypto when we are already pumping and it's too late. But yeah, I think that we are coming into a very interesting phase, a very boring phase, but here you have to stay sharp, and when nobody is watching, there's the opportunity. It's always like this, okay? Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye.